So the idea of doing the show came about when Max landed back on Vashon toward the end of his senior year of college. And I was preparing for this show, and I asked him if he wanted to participate.
Yeah, she came to me and she'd seen me do these drawings for a class that I was in at the time. And I said, yeah, I'll do some drawings for each of the 5 pieces that we were making. And then I said, what about doing some music to go with each of the pieces as well? So then that ended up happening as well.
I actually think the music was my idea.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I can't remember.
So I will show you some of Max's drawings within this particular piece, and maybe he can show you some others. This is his, this is his, this is his, this is his, and this is his. And you can see they're fine line drawings. The rest of the work is mine. It's either painted, drawn, or printed. This, for example, is a monotype, which is done on clay. It's a hand print. This is, again, some of Max's drawing. There's all different bits and pieces. This particular piece, they're each of a particular sort of colorway, and this one is the quietest one.
So, as my mom was saying, any of the drawings that have very sort of specific thin line weight, that's my contribution. I sort of just, my background with the drawings were basically just doodling. And then at this one class that I took, we were encouraged to sort of take the doodles that we all would do listening to a lecture or something and actually make them into pieces of art in the class. And so that's what I ended up taking that even further here and getting nicer archival pens that would actually hold up. And yeah, and here we are, collaged into the final pieces. Creating this artwork with my mom was interesting to begin with. We'd never worked together on anything before. I come from a theater and music background, my mom comes from a visual art background, and so we sort of had to figure it out as we were going. She gave me a lot of pre-painted pieces of paper, as you can see here and here and here. Some of them had more patterns already on there. Anything with the color was my mom's work. She would give that to me. I would then add the drawings onto it and give it back to her. So mainly the collaboration was in time. She'd be like, I need these drawings by Friday, and I would have to figure out how to get it to her by those mini deadlines before then the main deadline of the show happened. So that was sort of, on my end, how working with my mom worked.
I think Max got a little bit fatigued of the deadlines because drawing for him is a pleasurable hobby. But he was very malleable about it and flexible, and he did deliver on time so that we could get the work all done. And then the music was a little bit of a challenge, trying to figure out how we could make that accessible to everybody, particularly.
So I created a web page on my website called Chromatic Concert, and it allows you to view each of the pieces in a high quality image. And you start a drone at the beginning of your web page experience that sort of sets a base sonic landscape for you. And then each piece you click on its specific melody that then adds that layer on top of the drone. So the QR code for your gallery experience, you can bring your headphones in on your phone and scan the QR code. It'll take you to the website, and then you can listen to music in the gallery and view the paintings and collages in front of you rather than at home at your computer, and still get the auditory experience. The most fun for me was once I got the setup of how I was going to create the music ready, was actually making the music, because I was able to pull up the pictures, the high quality images of each piece of work, and then sort of improvise each melody as I was viewing the piece. So I had my keyboard in front of me, my monitor, and I would just sort of like look at it and just start playing. And I really didn't have to do actually that much editing for each of them, because I just sort of kept the minute to a minute and a half of music that was created for each one. And then afterwards I would pick an instrument that I felt worked well and then sort of tweak it from there. So everything started as piano and then was altered afterwards, after the improvisation. This is one of my favorites, but also ended up being the most challenging in terms of adapting it from the piano. So I definitely saw ocean and water with this, water has always been really important to me. growing up in the Pacific Northwest, comes from the sky, and it's all around us on the island. And so I knew that it was going to be watery somehow, but I played this melody on the piano, and then I found this instrument that was based off of whale sounds. So it was really slow and had all this reverb, and was kind of like these like whale noises, but they had a tone to them, so you could actually have a melody. But they were really slow, so it was figuring out how to make the notes separate from each other and not blend into each other too much, so it was still distinguishable, but also keep that echoey whale-like quality. So it was both the most fun and rewarding, and also one of the most difficult to really finesse into its final form, but I'm really happy with it.
So this project would have never happened had it not been for COVID, delivering my senior in college back to my doorstep. And it was really a product of us trying to find sort of the silver lining in this time. It's a really difficult and challenging time, but also in many ways a really special time. One of my friends called it a bonus parenting, and while I don't feel like I'm necessarily parenting, I am getting to know my son and work with my son at a time of his life where normally he would be off doing other things. And for both of us, this is a very intuitive process. For me, putting the paintings together is, for Max, making the music is, and to be able to respect but integrate both of those processes was really an honor and a delight, absolute delight.
And I was supposed to be off in Alaska working on theater projects, and really it wasn't that big of a shift in the end, because theater is collaborative and this was collaborative, so I just sort of had to switch my mindset over, and yeah, exactly, silver linings of the COVID pandemic, get to make art together. So
I think we both got to see how we work in a way that was much more personal than we usually get to observe. Max usually comes to my gallery openings, I usually go to his theater performances, or I hear him play music, but we're not as involved in each other's process as we were this time, and so I think we have more understanding and mutual respect of what we're both passionate about and what our talents are. It was really a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And we're so grateful to Vashon Center for the Arts to have this opportunity to show the work.
Yeah.